Hey, what's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. We're back for season 2, guys. We did it. Zack Klemme, Matt Sparks, I'm Aaron Snyder. You're watching us on dailyindependent.com or the Independent's Facebook page or on YouTube. And if you can't find us on YouTube, well, you already did because you're watching us. But next time, type in Halftime Prep Talk, okay? And you should be able to find us. You know, the first few times I actually tried to search for our own show.
Same.
I kept finding Halftime Pep Talks with Lou Holtz. I don't want to see that. I want to see us. We're here at Raceland at Rams Stadium. You can see US 23 in the background, the Rams scoreboard. And, you know, they had a special night here the other night. We're going to have guests join us from Raceland. Michael Sammons, the head coach, Carson Christian, a senior, and Isaac Wallace, a junior. They're coming off a 36-25 victory over West Carter. You were here, Zach. Can you kind of recap that one a little bit?
Well, it's one of those games that maybe the final score is not indicative of how the game went. Well, Raceland really controlled the line of scrimmage, but West has some very explosive athletes. Braden Brown, Peyton Brown, Ethan Brown were all figured heavily in their rushing game. Braden Brown, track guy, kind of showed why, a lot of speed. Ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown pass, and West Carter returned 2 late kickoffs for touchdowns. And they were happy. They, as Kevin Brown said, they're not into moral victories, but they were able to move the football a little bit, and they put some points on the board. But Raceland was a deserving winner in that game, and saw some encouraging things from their running game, and they'll have to get some more out of the passing game probably. They got to shore up their special teams, but not a bad season opener for both teams.
Before we move on to game balls, I want to say that we're happy to announce that HTPT is sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family once again this year. And if you want to check out the Chick-fil-A ticker, they provided us some nice food today, some refreshments with nuggets, sweet tea, Diet Coke, which I spilled in my car, and it was really good, wasn't it? It went over well with Isaac Wallace and Carson Christian.
And they were tickled, I think.
I think they were.
Yeah.
Tickled orange, by the buffalo sauce. So that will be showing, you know, last week's scores, which it was kind of a light weekend for opening weekend, and also this week's games, a heavier slate this weekend. But let's recap Friday and Saturday, game balls. Nice pass.
Nice catch. Nice catch.
Thank you. My game ball is going to go to, and there are several options here.
Yes.
And Matt Sparks stole mine, so I'm going to go with another one.
No, I didn't steal you. I already had that one already planned ahead of time before I arrived here.
I'm going to go with Lawrence County's Cole Mosley, a hard-nosed runner that Joe Cecil is never afraid to give the ball to. Grant Kaiser hands it off to him, and they feel pretty steady, giving it to that guy's dependable hands. And he runs pretty low to the ground, and is just a tough runner, isn't he, Zach? Cole Mosley had about 180 yards at a touchdown against Boyd County, so I'm going to go with Cole Mosley. Zach, who you got?
Well, look at Paintsville come back with a big win over Sheldon Clark in its season opener, and as a kind of a breakout party for Kent Phelps. Came back from missed all last season and last basketball season and the baseball season before that with labrum injury, repaired by surgery, and 177 yards on 5 carries and 2 touchdowns, both in the fourth quarter. They come out and Paintsville came out and 40-0 at halftime over Sheldon Clark, and just absolutely kind of set the tone for their season early, and they're expected to have a huge season. And Cash Daniel gets a lot of their ink, but Kent Phelps comes back, and he was their leading rusher as a freshman, and it looks like he's certainly ready to pick up where he left off.
Well, I'm going to go with my original pick.
Okay.
I'm going to head down US 23 here.
Is that
I'm going to give my
down or up US 23? I got the up US 23.
I'm going down US 23. I'm going to go with Jarrell Jackson from the Greenham County Musketeers. You know, we want to talk about making an impact. You take a year off from football, and the very first play for scrimmage Friday night against Lewis County, he jars the ball loose on a big defensive hit, sets up the Greenham County offense in really good shape. I think Jared Hunt run in from 9 yards the very next play. You always like guys that can set the tone early. I think Jarrell did, so I'm going to give him my game ball.
Yeah, you know, after taking a year off, he really came out today. You know, the whole, you know, I was there Friday night, and just the whole junior class there for Greenup County, especially on the defensive side, you know, with Jarrell Jackson and Caden Warnock and Parker Clark and Peyton Elster, they were very impressive as a group, and they like to hit. They hit hard. So Greenup County could have a nice season. Top 3 games of the week. Number 3 in the area, Wheelersburg at Ironton. Zach, last year Wheelersburg had Ironton's number.
Twice. Yeah.
Once in the playoffs, of course, and ended the Fighting Tigers season. Can the Tigers rebound and maybe beat them this year?
Both of those games were competitive for a half, but Wheelersburg was just deeper, had more athletes, was better up front. That showed over the course of the game. Both teams lose their starting quarterbacks to graduation. Ironton brings back a lot in the backfield, but they lose their best lineman as well, and Isaac Sherman. I think Wheelersburg has a little bit too much again. It'll be closer than last year, but I think Wheelersburg comes out on top.
I know, Matt, you frequent a certain restaurant in Wheelersburg from time to time. Do you know anything about their football team?
Not really. I know that they have a great line. I know they have some great running backs. I know that I think Iron's probably chopping at the bit for this game after last a 38-7 drubbing in the playoffs last year. But I think I'm going to go with Zach here. I'm going to pick Wheelersburg too because I love to eat at Fred's. I want to be able to go back to Fred's.
That's your reason.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I think the main reason is Iron's going to really miss Tristan Cox. I think he brought another dynamic to that offense.
Okay.
His passing and running ability.
Okay.
I think that loss, will give Wheelersburg the edge. I think.
Ironton struggled in their scrimmage a little bit, but they didn't play Desmond Young and D'Angelo Palladino and Andrew Barker very much. I think those 3 guys will make the difference. Heavy hitters, not only just bruising runners, but heavy hitters. Desmond Young is a fast fullback. He's a load to bring down, and D'Angelo Palladino has packed on some weight and apparently hasn't lost much speed. And Tyler Webb is just a man up front. I like Ironton. Number 2, Greenup County at Russell. Last 2 years have gone down to the wire. Russell won the game 14-8 2 years ago. Russell won last year 22-15. Big night. AD Sam Sparks has been keeping us informed on the very first Athletic Hall of Fame induction. That'll be on Saturday. This game is a Saturday night game. They expect a big crowd because of that. Matt, we just talked about Greenup County a little bit, how well their defense played against Lewis, 35-0. Can they, make a repeat of that once again and come out and perform well against a talented Red Devils team?
Yeah, I think both teams got a great defense, especially I think Greenup County, and we've seen in the past 2 years low-scoring affairs. But I think it's going to come down to the offense. I talked to Chris Mullins over the weekend, and he was really ecstatic about the offense, the new spread offense they put in. They really performed well, I think. But they had a big zero on the defensive side. I think the more important zero will be on the offensive side as far as turnovers. Greenup County had trouble holding on to the ball last year, and had 0 turnovers last week against Lewis County. If they have 0 turnovers against Russell, I think they come out on top.
That's a good point. That's been the turning point for them in several games over the last couple of years, has been ball security.
Absolutely. I think in a lot of ways this game is what Greenup County's been building to for the last really 2 or 3 years. A lot of their skill guys and their linemen are seniors. This is what they've been working toward, made measurable progress over the last 2 or 3 years. And they've given Russell all they wanted 2 years in a row. They're going to have to throw the football a little bit better than they did maybe against Lewis, but granted they didn't need to throw the ball real well against Lewis either. Handled that one pretty easily. It'll be interesting to see. He'll open that playbook up a little bit more, Chris Mullins will. He'll need to, and it'll be interesting to see what else they've got in store. I like Greenup to finally get it done there at Russell.
Wow. Do you like the Musketeers as well?
I think the Musketeers, I like them too. I think this kind of makes or breaks their season. I think this is their barometer for the season, the backyard brawl. And I think if they can go in to Red Devil Stadium and beat Russell, I think they can go on. Had that first winning season since 2002. I think they get it done.
Wow. You know who their coach was that year?
No.
TJ Maynard.
Oh, I want to say that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be wrong on camera.
There you go.
So I want to make sure. you said that.
Man,
yes.
Confidence.
Yes.
I am not 100% confident in the Red Devils, but I do like them enough to win this game. So once again, I'm going against you guys. I'm going with Russell.
That's the way we like it.
Yeah, we got to mix it up here on HTPT. I like Jacob McKee. Really good quarterback, versatile guy, dual threat. Made strides every week last year, and really took ownership of that team, the offense. I was impressed by that. They're going to miss Bronson Corzette. They're going to miss a couple guys, but there are several guys, including Nick Conley, that'll step up and kind of help fill that void that Corzette left.
Yeah,
so,
he was really big. He was really big in those two wins for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Nick Conley late TD, wins it both times for Russell. I mean, that could happen this year. But I think Green maybe the defense a little stiffer this year, a little stout, more stout.
They bring back more on the line.
Bring back more on the line. Ethan Cold Iron, Dylan Craycraft really have stepped up in the offseason. That's why I want to pick them a slight edge over Russell.
And they've played a game, Russell hasn't. And even if it was against a team that was not able to challenge them, that still goes a long way toward kind of getting in the game day rhythm and knowing what you're doing on a Friday night.
Number
or
one.
Saturday night this week.
Yes, Saturday night. Number one, Raceland at Ashland. Zach, you just brought up the point. Ashland hasn't played a game. Raceland has. Does that give the Rams a little bit of an advantage?
To me it does, and you mentioned Ashland's only played one scrimmage even because its last scrimmage fell through. It's had some issues with that with a couple different teams weren't able to make it happen. So Ashland brings back a lot from last year. They bring back a lot of linemen. They got a new quarterback, which as of press time has not been confirmed who that is, has not been announced. Obviously some dynamic playmakers on both sides of the ball, but there's a lot of question marks surrounding Ashland. Raceland has come out here. They've got some stuff on film. They can see what they need to do better at. They need to do better covering kicks, better on special teams, limiting big plays. But I think it helps them that they've been out here, they've gone through it for a week, and they've kind of gotten in a little bit more of a rhythm. So to me, that gives Raceland a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, you want to find out who the Tomcats starting quarterback is, you better be in a seat at Putnam Stadium at 7:30 on Friday night, because that's where I'm going to be, because I have no idea who it's going to be. Matt, what do you think about that game?
I think that's going to be a huge key who the Tomcats quarterback is, because you know, like you said, they haven't played a game yet, only one scrimmage, so whoever the starting quarterback is hasn't got a lot of work in yet, especially in a game time situation. And when you got Quentin Baker back in the backfield, I mean, if you don't have to gaze on the quarterback so much, you can really spend more of your attention on Quentin Baker. So that quarterback's going to have to make some plays. And I think with the experience that Raceland is bringing back, you know, they've been close 2 years in a row. I think this is the year for them. So I'm going to strap on my hat here. And since we're at Rams Stadium, I'm going to strap on this Rams hat, and I'm going Rams.
Going to the Rams. And Zach, you're going to the Rams. So once again, I'm going against you guys. I'm going with the Tomcats. And reason being, I like Ashland's promising defense. They haven't proven enough yet, but it is the 40-year anniversary of the Jaws defense. I'm not going to say that they're going to go out there and put the clamp down like the Jaws defense did 40 years ago in '75. But I will go ahead and predict Ashland as the winner Friday night. Tony Love said that they could potentially start, play 11 guys on defense who don't even see snaps on offense. Drew O'Brien and Taylor Broughton, they're going to play on both sides of the ball, but there might be 9 guys out there, who are going to be fresh.
He's very confident in his depth.
So good defensive depth. We'll see if they go out and prove it on Friday. I think they will. I think it'll be a well of a game. All 3 of these games should be very tight, very good. So pick a game and go out and pick 2 games because you got a choice Saturday night. And follow us on Twitter for updates at ZKlemme ADI, at DIndependentQB, and at SparksWillFly 33.
35.
35. You have to add Mitch Richmond's number
and
to Larry Bird's number. I always forget the 2.
You know what? I probably should have planned ahead and asked for a fitted hat.
I was going to say,
because this is not fitting on my melon too well.
You don't look foolish at all.
I don't look foolish at all. I'm wearing I got a red devil colors on the shirt and a Rams hat. It really doesn't match.
It's the Rail Cities Matthew Sparks.
Yeah, I'm praying for the Rail Cities Bowl.
Michael Salmon's coming up. Here with Coach Michael Salmons of Raceland football. Coach, it's good to have you on again. You were one of our guests last season for the football season. We're kicking off HTPT today here at Rams Stadium. It's always good to be here. We got the scoreboard in the background and US 23 rolling in the background. A lot of times, you're going to see on Friday nights here, US 23 is going to be full of cars up here, full of spectators.
Yeah, hopefully none of them will stop back there today while we're filming, but they see something going on here. It's like a tradition. People stop and want to know what's going on. So we're just glad to be part of the show. Anything we do to promote our program, we're happy to do.
Coach Vanderhoof is back on the sidelines. Randy Vanderhoof is back. And we've had a story in the Independent about that. He had some really nice words to say about you. He compared you to a young Bill Tom Ross. And he said that Raceland was, just very fortunate to have you as a coach, if you could coach at any level. So what does that mean, hearing that from Coach Vanderhoof?
Well, Coach Vanderhoof and Coach Ross, 2 guys I played for, obviously very high up my list of mentors, and I learned the game from. A lot of respect for both those guys. You know, I told you before, we've been on Coach Vanderbilt for years to come back, even when Coach Maynard was here. And we're glad to have him back. Just a different perspective. You know, he can really relate. He's been there. He's dealt with everything from head coach to assistant coach back in the 80s when he first got started. So he's been a real asset to us and our program, our community, another racing guy. And I think he's really having fun with it.
The Rams are 1-0 with a victory over West Carter this past Saturday. Always a nice event here with the Hall of Fame, you know, the Rams Legends inductions. So it's always a good way to kick off the year, isn't it? I mean, just a way to, you know, kind of enshrine those guys in the Hall of Fame and then have a kickoff here, and then you got a victory.
Yeah, Saturday night was a good day for our program. We had the Hall of Fame induction to school at 4 o'clock. That went really well, put 6 guys in. Then we came out here Saturday night. You know, I don't know what people really thought, but hats off to West Carter. They got a good football team. And I thought as the game went on, we kind of maybe put our wheel on them. But first game jitters, we're breaking in some new guys too. I mean, we got a lot of guys back, but we got some new pieces. But we were happy with the way we played and performed, and hopefully take a step forward this week.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about those new pieces. You know, obviously the secondary, 3/4 of it's replenished this year. Carson Christian, who's going to be on here in just a second, is back.
Yeah.
But the rest of the guys, you know, they're kind of, yeah, they played some snaps last year, but really they're kind of green in a way.
Yeah, you know, I think one thing we've been able to do with our program here, we started 2 juniors, played a sophomore and a senior also Friday in secondary alongside Carson. What we've been able to do is bring guys up to the JV program. In the past, you know, with our situation, sometimes we've had to play freshmen and even some sophomores that quite honestly just weren't ready. So we've been able to kind of have time to develop kids, and I think you saw that Friday night or Saturday night. Our kids was, you know, they kind of earned their way, so to speak, and they were ready to go out and show that they're capable players, and for the most part they did. Of course, they got a lot to learn, you know, first time out there, but that's really been a good step for our program.
Another familiar face in a new place is Nathaniel Davidson taking snaps now at quarterback. What's your assessment of him in his first game?
You know, Nathaniel's he's a high-quality football player. We can play him anywhere in the football field, offense or defense, and he can make plays for us. We feel like as the season goes on, he's only going to get better. He's extremely dangerous on his feet. He throws the ball really well. Just really excited what he can do to lead the team in the new position quarterback.
Obviously, this Friday night, big one at Putnam Stadium. You know, going up against Ashland, the team that you guys have really battled against over the years, and especially the last 2 years, been oh so close to getting that victory there at Putnam. But going into that game, does it feel like, you know, they haven't played a game yet other than a scrimmage? Do you feel like maybe that could give you guys a little bit of advantage?
Well, you know, any little advantage we can get over those guys, we're going to try to sell it and take it. You know, we feel like we've had a good scrimmage on our belt. We had 1 game, full live action, special teams, getting guys on and off the field game, and had guys go down and subs get in and so on and so forth. So we're hoping this second week we make a big step forward. You know, as far as they go, you know, they got really talented players, and we walk on the field 7:30. It's our guys versus their guys. What's really happened in the past is of no relevance.
Yeah, and you know, Coach Glove was talking about how he could potentially play 11 guys on defense that don't even see a snap on offense. Now that won't happen because Taylor Broughton and Drew O'Brien will probably play some offense. But he's just said that the potential is there. But really with you guys, as far as numbers goes, there are a few guys that you guys can do that with too. Yeah,
I mean, their depth is always a big advantage for them over us. But you know, we feel like right now we got close to 20, maybe 21 kids who can play on offense and defense, not including special teams on Friday night. So, you know, we're not ready to say we're going to platoon guys. We're not at that point. I don't know if we'll ever be there or that we want to be there. But, you know, we feel like we can keep guys fresh going in the 4th quarter on Friday night at Putnam, and hopefully that will give us an advantage.
Russell down the road, the Rail Cities Bowl is back this year.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, that's later on in the season. You probably haven't even thought about that much, but just looking at the schedule, there are really no boring matchups. You know, of course, you know, that's going to be a rematch with former Raceland coach TJ Maynard on the opposite sideline. There seems to be a storyline every week with you guys because of a good schedule.
Yeah, you know, we feel like, and I tell everybody this, you know, we try to get ready for our 2 district games, and then we really want to make sure we're prepared for the playoffs. And we put a schedule together to help us do that. And we got 10 quality opponents. We got 2 Ohio teams that are very high quality programs. One of them played in state semifinals last year. So we're going to really test our kids, and we also want to put ourselves in different situations. We're going to play against some spread teams. We're going to play against some option teams. We're going to, you know, play against some zone read teams. We're going to play against teams that can run. We're going to play against teams that are really big, just to make sure that when we get in November and hopefully into December that we're prepared for whatever we come across. And that's really how we try to build our schedule.
You personally, you're in a unique situation in that you can see things from different perspectives where you've been a baseball umpire for a while. You know, let me ask you about this. As far as being an umpire, have you ever been in a real heated argument with a coach? What's the most heated argument you've been in?
Oh, I try not to be. You know, it's sometimes they say it's part of the game. I think I had ejection a couple of years ago out of Boyd County for an out-of-state coach. That's probably about the most fired up I had to get. But you know, for the most part, you try to, when you're umpire, you try to let the coaches coach and you do your job. And when you're a coach, you try to let the umpires work and stay out of their way. And I feel like on the sideline I've done a good job of that. I'm sure some of those guys would disagree, and I'm sure I could do better at that. But for the most part, there's a mutual respect there.
Have you had any confrontations the last couple of years that you can think of on the football field?
No, as a head coach, I really had one minor incident last year. And actually, it was at Putnam. Just an unfortunate circumstance. But anyways, it got worked out, and that's what it was. But nah, for the most part, like I said, those guys communicate, and I communicate with them, and we had no issues.
And of course, emotions always run high at Putnam. That's a big game for you guys.
Yeah, emotions on both sides. That's a big game for officials. I know that as an umpire, you know, you get big games on your schedule, you get excited. And same thing as a coach, you play big games, you're excited. It's just the way it goes, and it's nothing personal. Sometimes emotions just take over.
All right, well, Carson Chris is going to step in here and take your spot. Great to have you on the show, and thanks for letting us come out here.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate all you guys do for our area sports and our program, and just hopefully we'll be doing this for another, I don't know, maybe better part of the first week of December.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, Carson Christian joins us here on the HTPT set. Carson, good to have you. We're taking you away from school a little bit. We can't tell anybody that.
Oh, yeah.
But you got some good Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And we appreciate Chick-fil-A for being our ticker sponsor.
Yeah, pampering us.
They come down here and feed the press box on Friday nights here.
They do. My dad's up there. He brings home some sweet tea sometimes.
There you go. But Carson, you know, this past Saturday, you guys opened up the season with a nice win over West Carter, 36-25. You know, as Coach said, a good quality team, really some good skilled players on that team.
Yeah.
But you kind of said that maybe you admitted a little bit that possibly there was a little bit of overlooking, and they caught you for that, but you guys ended up being the winner. So can you kind of expound upon that?
Just looking at the film for them against Greenham County. Greenham County's it was a scrimmage game, but you know both teams they played back and forth, and West Carter ended up beating them pretty bad. And looking at the film last year against when we played them last year in the grid, you know we beat them pretty bad too. So we just kind of thought same thing coming around. We'll just have to contain the Braden Brown and the Brown kids, and you know we'll be all right. But you know they came out and hit us in the mouth first possession, and we knew we had to answer the bell second half. That's what we came out and did.
You know, they came up with some big plays, long yardage plays, and that's something that kind of hurt you guys against Ashland last year. So how are you guys trying to maybe shore up the, and try to avoid that big play that Ashland could potentially put on you Friday?
Well, first off, we won't overlook it. And, we know Quentin's going to get his. Quentin's going to bust out and make some plays sometimes. He will. Last year we didn't have film on him. They didn't play their first game. So we didn't have the right defensive adjustment to stop their big plays. But the key of it is really just being able to tackle, get them on the ground, whether it's 10 yards down the field or 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. And if we're able to do that, and we're able to execute on offense, then it'll be a good night.
You personally started out with a bang. I mean, you had a good night on Saturday. Were you pretty happy with your performance?
I was satisfied, yes. I'm glad that our team was able to win above all else. But, Kane and myself, it took us several games to get to 100 yards last year. And so, it's kind of cool starting out the season with it.
Yeah, real good start. And we talked in the offseason a little bit, and you said that a lot of the offseason talk for you guys surrounded the Ashland game because you've been so close, and it's so important for you guys. Can you talk about that a little bit? I mean, how much have you guys, how loud has the chatter been inside the locker room about the Ashland game?
Man, it's been pretty loud about it. Just freshman year we had Dalen, we had Kyle Morris too, and he was a great defensive player. And them guys, 2 years in a row, I think we had big plays on the very first play of the game with Dalen running a touchdown one year, maybe a touchdown next year, I don't remember. But we've just come so close. And I can remember all of us standing on the sidelines freshman year saying, we're going to beat them before we graduate. One of these days we're going to beat them. And we felt like with Adam, we should have beat them. We felt like last year we should have, but we let a couple get away from us. And this year, you know, the pieces are coming together, hopefully.
And you guys have quite a bit back, and Coach, you know, and I talked about them. We talked about some of the new guys that are especially playing around you there in the secondary. How are they coming along?
They're coming along very well. Cameron's a sophomore. He made a couple mistakes. Of course, we all do. I gave up the first touchdown of the game. But you know, it's being able to adjust, being able to get yelled at over on the sideline in front of everyone, and saying, "Okay, I know what to do. I'll fix it." And Howard's come along. He was probably going to start last year if it weren't for Maverick and Josh. And Josh Clark has done really good. John Cherry came in and played safety. He hadn't even repped in a lot last week, and he came in and played a lot of safety. Played the whole second half and did great. So I think secondary-wise, it's going to keep getting stronger and stronger throughout the season.
One very important guy, kind of the cornerstone, the centerpiece of that front line has been Isaac Wallace since his freshman year, and he's getting ready to join us here. How do you describe his personality?
Man, he's a goofy guy, man. We're Worthington boys up here across the tracks, and grew up together. And he's always been playing below me, and now he's playing next to me. You know, it's good to be playing with him and not scrimmaging each other in JFL or in 7th and 8th grade. You know, and you know, he brings the fire and he brings all the laughs at the same time. And he's definitely a leader on our team.
The last question for you is: have you come up with any new hashtags? I'm trying to eliminate Snyder hates Raceland.
Well, we can eliminate the Snyder hates Raceland, but you know, I'm talking to some of your buddies over here, and they said that Fleming County was a little upset. So maybe Snyder hates Fleming. maybe hates Fleming.
Well, I got to be careful because several times last year I tried to go against the grain and pick against the Rams, and I think it came back to bite me just about every time.
Yeah, the game did, and so did the Twins. Right?
And I understand that hashtag might resurface. I get it. I get it.
It might.
All right, Carson, good luck on Friday. Thanks
for
joining.
Thanks.
All right, Isaac Wallace joins us, Raceland Junior. It seems like you're older than that because you've been starting since freshman year. But Isaac, you know, obviously you've made a big impact here for the Rams. Coach has talked about you quite a bit. Just talked to Carson about you quite a bit. I know Coach jokes with you, though, that the media never talks to the linemen. Yeah. But right here is proof we're talking to the linemen. Yep. Isaac, you always got a smile on your face. What makes you so happy, you know, to be out here on the football field all the time?
I love the game. I love the game more than anything.
You guys obviously have a big, hefty line for Class A football. You know, it's just a stampede of big guys up there.
Yeah.
How much of a luxury is it to have that kind of size at this size of a school?
We can run the ball. Like, it don't matter if I'm on the left side or the right side. We got linemen that can play on both sides of the ball.
Your off season, you dropped a lot of weight, and it seemed like you've gotten in even better shape. Can you talk about, you know, what did you do to lose the weight, and have you noticed a difference on the field?
Yeah. All it was, I drink like a lot of water and just eat right and cut back on what you eat, stuff like that. And I've noticed I can move laterally better, in better shape, quicker, stuff like that.
How much weight did you lose total?
Almost 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Since my freshman year.
Wow. You notice that more on the defensive side, you know, just the kind of lateral movements, getting the guys quicker?
Yeah, defense for sure.
How do you defend a guy like Ashland has, Quentin Baker?
Really, I mean, I can't catch him no matter how much weight I lose, but I just try to get him cutting back over here. Get my quarters and let him cut back, and I'm just running down the line trying to smack him up there.
So it's more about the angles?
Yeah, angles.
Coach has mentioned, you know, you always have a smile on your face, but once you get inside the lines, you could be a pretty mean guy.
Yeah.
What makes you such a fierce competitor out here?
I like to hurt people. When I'm on the field, I like to hurt people.
Okay, you have a similar mentality as a guy over in Paintsville named Cash Daniel, who had a couple of comments, you know, he did say he wanted to beat Raceland as bad as he wants to breathe. How have you guys responded to that?
With a laugh. We laugh about that because there ain't no way we're going to lose that game.
How much motivation is there each week for you guys? Because like I talked to Coach, there's no boring games on this schedule. Especially when it comes to district. I mean, just 2 teams this year, so your focus is going to be on Paintsville and Fairview.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much extra motivation, does it?
No, not at all. Because we got to win that district. That's something we got to win every year. We expect to win that.
You want to break down that door to Bowling Green, and like Coach said, he hoped we talked again maybe in early December. That's a long road though. How much does it take to just focus on every week and just be patient?
Yeah, we're excited to get in the playoffs and stuff, but right now we're trying to focus on Ashland. Then we got East Carter, Greenham. We're trying to focus on that too, but we're anxious to get the playoffs.
Well, we brought a prop here for you. I got to ask you, who's going to win the game this Friday? Is it going to be Ashland or Raceland?
You already know.
We know Isaac Wallace is picked. He's bringing out the hard hat. It's the Rams.
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck on Friday. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
HTPTs, 2 for the road. Matthew Sparks, take the wheel.
Where's that go?
Oh, I don't know. He's out practicing punting.
He's out running laps or something.
If you hear a football being kicked in the background, that's Zack Klemme.
Yeah. My 2 for the road. So we're talking about football here today. I think I'm going to go with the NFL. I'm trying not to be sound bitter here, but one of my favorite players in the NFL, Jordan Nelson, tore his ACL against Pittsburgh over the weekend, out for the season. And I think it's really a shame when players get hurt in the preseason. The preseason is way too long. 4 games is just too many games. It's just shorter than half to 2. You know, I know that you can get injured during a regular season game, of course, but in a meaningless game where he's only going to play maybe more than 2 series, and he gets hurt in one of them. Jordan Nelson doesn't need any preseason work. Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Nelson should be on the sidelines the whole preseason. Let the second string and beyond work on their game in the preseason, and so you can fill that roster. But the preseason is way too long.
Yeah, really, it only takes 2 games for the coaches to assess who is going to make the team and who's not going to make the team. Let's face it, you don't need 4 games. I mean, that's a 4th of the season. That ends up being a 5th of the whole season because it's a 16-game regular season, 20 games total. And really, it's not good for the fans. You know, they charge almost just as much for those tickets.
Well,
you don't even get to. There's just not much point in those last 2 games.
Well, I mean, of course, it's all about the cash, of course. But you know, it takes 2 games to narrow it down from 90-some to 75, I think. I think you can narrow it down 20 players during practice, first few weeks of practice. I think a seasoned coach could tell who that's going to be. So shorten preseason to 2 games, and let's get on with it.
They wear orange and black around here. I know there's some Bengals fans, a lot of Bengals fans, including myself, who are around here. And what all I'm going to say is don't put too much stock in that Buccaneers game. The Bengals are going to be just fine. You know, you can't put too much stock in the preseason, so they'll be just fine. But instead of orange and black, I want to talk about the color gold right now. At Bell Vernon High School in Pennsylvania, they just did a whole lot of renovations to their stadium. And they spent a whopping $200,000, Matt, to transform their turf to gold turf. It's like Boise State has the Smurf turf, the blue turf. This high school in Pennsylvania now has gold turf, and they spent $200,000 on this. And my question is, if you have an extra $200,000 to spare, why not spread the wealth a little bit? Yeah, just maybe to some struggling high schools who are struggling to keep their programs intact and keep them going. You know, you hear stories about how a lot of high school sports are fizzling out, and programs, you know, might not have enough money to stay, you know, to keep alive here in the next 20 years or so. I just don't get the point in spending $200,000 on gold turf.
There's probably other programs within that same school, within the school that could use that money too. You know, it gives a new meaning for running for the gold.
That's true.
I'll tell you.
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
A lot of good headlines.
Yeah, exactly.
We like that, the newspaper. Keep an eye on the newspaper for, you know, coverage of other sports as well. We'll be all over the scene. Volleyball courts, soccer pitches, cross-country meets. We'll be all over the place, so keep an eye on dailyindependent.com, which is where you're watching this. HTPT is brought to you by Fannin Automotive Family. Once again, I want to thank Steve Barfield and Chick-fil-A for providing us food and the goodies there. I want to thank Michael Sammons, Carson Christian, and Isaac Wallace for joining us today at Ram Stadium. For Matthew Sparks, I'm Aaron Snyder. We'll see you next time.